Well, good evening. It's the 29th of June and it's 7:10 in the evening, and I thought I'll do my allotment update for the month of June. We start at the top. This month I've managed to dig over and turn my manure bed. I've also harvested and made a 5-gallon container of comfrey ready to feed my plants. On the new strawberry bed, I've been picking strawberries all this month and had quite a few pounds from this bed, so that's done quite well. Most probably next month I'll cut all the runners off and feed the plants ready for next year. Coming down, I've planted all my overwinter and autumn brassicas, starting at this corner with Brussels sprouts, followed by early sprouting broccoli, and at the far end on both sides we've got January King. Coming down in the middle of the second bed are all year round cauliflowers, and down in this corner we have calabrese. So all these plants were actually sown on this side under fleece, and I planted them out this month. Let's carry on down. My tomatoes have taken, and although still quite small, they seem as though they're now growing fine. Next to these I have some small squash, and there's some marigolds in between them. They're a bush type squash, so they won't spread. On this bed I have my garlic, a few extra beans that I were given, and on the back of that my red and white onions. And down here where the leaves are hanging over are my shallots. Come down. I spent some time re-tidying the shed this month, and that's made that a lot better now for storage. My main crop, potatoes, are Desiree again. They're doing quite well, and in fact are in flower. These few here are pink fir apple, which are also in flower. And this is the rest of the pink fir apple potatoes, main crop. And at long last, this is the best crop, or starting crop, of parsnips I've had since 2011. And I achieved this by actually picking a seed pod from another allotment holder's plot. The parsnip was just left to go to seed, and I saved the seed from that parsnip and planted them in here, or sown them in here. The greenhouse hasn't got any further, but I will get stuck into that most probably later on in the year. But I'll give it a miss for this season. Swinging round, in here are 2 rows of main crop peas, One side's a little bit sparser than the other, but they're coming along now. They've been protected. Now on this bed I did have some sugar and peas, but they all got eaten, so I decided to sow something else in here. So I've got celeriac running along. I've planted some more beans in between where this wood is. And coming round, raspberries are just starting to show their fruit. The rhubarb's done very well. Still picking and eating that. The asparagus I've left to develop into ferns and put some goodness back into the roots. As I said earlier, I've already cropped one lot of comfrey this year and made some comfrey feed with that. These potatoes here, the first 3 rows, are Anya, and I dug some of those today and they're nice and small and sweet. And here, this row here, is the rest of my early potatoes, and again I've dug some of those today. The old strawberry bed has been producing very well, although this method of planting 4 plants per square foot, the problem with it is I find it very difficult to find the strawberries. They're there, but I really have to search for them, moving the plants around. So I think I would prefer next time to plant 1 strawberry plant per foot. Coming down here, most of my courgettes that I planted directly into the soil have taken, and the nasturtiums you can see here were from seed that came off the plants last year and self-seeded, so I've left those. Like I say, the courgettes I planted directly in their growing position and they're doing well. Beans, they are now growing. These again were planted directly or sown directly into the ground. They're coming along. Now this lot of beans didn't do quite so well, so I've re-sown this section and I can just see some of the new beans coming through. This section here I had sown beetroot, spinach, dwarf French beans and carrots, and for a month or so nothing showed, nothing came. So what I've done, I've re-sowed beetroot, spinach, perpetual spinach that is, and beans, and the new sowing of beans are just starting to show through. So I've covered them with this Enviro mesh to protect them from the wind and the sun, and also from predators. The carrots that I sowed, some have come up. You can just maybe just see some underneath the Enviro mesh. They were just scattered across the area. This was my seed bed that I grew my brassica plants in, and also you can see my leeks. I'll transplant those next month into their growing position. And there's a few spring cabbage there ready for eating. Let's have a quick look in the greenhouse. I've planted some cucumbers directly in their growing position, and I've planted out the tomatoes, and they're just starting now to show flowers. Some are growing better than others, so keep an eye on those. So that's a greenhouse. All I've got in here are tomatoes, cucumbers and a couple of marigolds to hopefully keep the pests away. Now if you actually look back at my plots last year, especially in the greenhouse, they seem to have done a lot better, but I've made a general effort to not start so early this year, so hopefully it will all catch up. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you found this video useful and interesting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again hopefully next month.